Hey everybody, so since you're in this group that tells me that, and I believe in you, that you have the desire to reach your potential as a purpose pursuer. And so the question becomes, how do you do it? One of the things that puzzles me often is, why do people not grow when they read a book? For example, a life-changing book for me was the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And so I asked that question. I'm like, why do some people read this book and not grow? And so finally, in my own journey, I took huge leaps in my personal growth when I read it, and I dove in and I took action. And so I was so passionate about this book that I would even tell everybody I talked to at the time about it and how it was changing my life. And I was passionate about telling them about this book and helping people to live up to their full potential and have their lives just change like my life has been changed. And I think that's how all of us, when we have a light bulb go on, the first thing we want to do is, turn to somebody and tell them all about it. When we experience something good for the first time, like a good movie or a good restaurant, the first thing we do is we run and we go tell other people, you should do this thing too. And so sadly, of all the people that I talked to about this book, I'm trying to think back, and even some I gave the book to, not many of them grew. I can think of 4 people that had huge growth in their lives. And, so I started reflection, and one of the laws is the law of reflection. So I started reflecting on that, and I was thinking, now, why is this? Why do people not grow who knew about this book? And I can give you, 15 reasons why they didn't grow. Law of intentionality, the law of awareness, the law of the mirror, the law of reflection, the law of consistency, the law of environment. The list can go on. And so those are the reasons, because they didn't grow, maybe because they didn't read the book. I told them about it, maybe I even gave it to them, and they didn't even read it. And so just thinking back on my own journey at first, the first time I read the book, I kind of read it for the first 4 weeks, and then I skipped around and glanced over it a little bit and read some of the other chapters. And so even my own journey at first, I didn't grow as much and live up to the potential that I could have. And finally, I joined what we call a mastermind group. It's exactly that. You're masterminding. There's multiple people in the group, and you're masterminding behind this group. And so I joined one with the 15 laws of growth, and the power of the mastermind, guys, let me tell you, changed my life, and it really kick-started my growth journey. In chapter 10 of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which this book, by the way, has been around for decades, and it came out during the Great Depression and is still helping so many people. So this book is a sustainable book, and another must read. And so he talks about the power of a mastermind and that it's the driving force. He says power is essential. Power is essential to success in the accumulation of money. And the book's talking about money, but he says, let me just put it up here so I can see plans. But he says that essential, like the money, sorry. And he says that plans are inert and useless without sufficient power to translate them into action. And so I think we all can understand that. He says this in this chapter, will explain, he says the method by which one will attain and apply power. Okay, that sounds promising. So we can attain the power. He says power may be defined as organized and intelligently directed. Knowledge, power, as the term here I think is used, refers to organized effort and sufficient to enable an individual to transmute, he says, like, transmute desire into his monetary equivalent. Okay, and so maybe I missed you there, but stay with me for a second. Organized effort is produced through the coordination of effort between what? Two or more people who work to a he says a definite end, and then he talks about in the spirit of harmony. So he gives 3 ways that we can, obtain our goals, or we can reach our plan. And so we're kind of, what are we, a little more than halfway through the year. And now your New Year's goals are probably way out the window. But the majority of people around this time of year have pretty much dropped the ball on those plans and those goals, months ago. And so a while back, actually, in this group, I asked you about what area of life do you want to grow in. And in that area of life, you might be beginning to think, how am I going to grow in this area? Well, Napoleon Hill says there are 3 ways. And these are 3 ways that are going to get you ideas that are sufficient enough to have the power to bring those ideas forward. And so he says, get the idea from infinite intelligence. Okay, infinite intelligence. I call that the mind of God. Number 2, accumulated experience. So accumulated, that means experience that you have the experience. So, for example, I think God has given me my experiences so that I can help others. So you have an experience within you where you can help others. I think we all have that. And so, first one, get the idea from infinite intelligence. I call that God. I think all of you do here in this group. And number 2, your accumulated experience. And then number 3 is experiment and research. Okay, so one might call that, trial and error. And so he goes on to say that something real. Okay, he says this really important thing next. He says, examination of these 3 major sources of knowledge will readily disclose the difficulty an individual would have if he depended on his own efforts of assembling the knowledge and expressing it through definite plans in terms of action. Okay, so he says if his plans are comprehensive, are your plans comprehensive? Think about where you're trying to go. Think about the income goal you have. Some of you have spiritual goals. Some of you have financial debt goals, relationship goals, health goals. Some of you want to grow maybe a business. Some of you have a dream. Don't underestimate the power of a dream. Some of you want to make a major impact on the world and make a difference. Do you have a comprehensive plan behind that? I think you do. And if you contemplate, all of those things in large proportions, is your goal to have a little spiritual growth or a lot of spiritual growth? If that's the goal, do you want a little bit of money or do you want a lot of money? If that's the goal, do you want a little bit of weight loss or do you want a lot of weight loss? Do you want to be a better parent or also be a better parent, wife, sister, friend, brother, grandparent? He says if you are comprehensive and you contemplate in those big proportions, he says you have to induce other people to cooperate before you can, inject that into them and give them that power and that necessary, element. And so A little confusing, but just let that sink in and replay this message if you need to. But the point is he says no individual may have great power without availing himself of the mastermind. And so he says no individual, no two minds come together without thereby creating the third mind. And in the Bible, this is stated as whenever two or more are gathered, in my name. And so when you begin to take this journey and you involve other people with you, that's why I created this group. We want to have a tribe, the importance of community. The mind of God then can step in, and he says when the minds of two people are coordinated in the spirit of harmony, the spiritual units of each mind become infinity, an infinite possibility. So think about that, which, that's what makes up the psychic phase in a mastermind. So the possibilities of a mastermind are infinite. And I call that God room. We allow God to work in and through us. And so I shared with you that I know of 4 people that had huge growth when they read this book. And then the 4 people that grew that I know when they read this book were the people that were in that mastermind, the 15 Laws Mastermind that I joined. And so I ask you, what are you doing now for your personal growth? This is, Purpose Pursuers is who I'm talking to now. But so what are you doing for your parenting growth? What are you doing for your spiritual growth? For you being, the best parent you can be for your children? I just really want to strongly encourage you, because your chances of success and your chances of succeeding in those things that you want greatly increase the more people that you commit to. Because what happens, we make a goal, we do things to reach our goal, then school starts back up, work picks up, sports pick up, and you just start to fade away. And so if we know, one of our friends are waiting for us at the gym, let's say, or on the other line for a call, then or maybe we made an investment in ourselves, for once. We don't do that as parents enough. And so maybe we made this investment when we're always investing in our kids, and for others. But if we made an investment in ourselves this time, and don't feel bad about that, by the way, because in order to be better for your kids, then you first need to be your best version of yourself, because you can't give to your kids what you don't already have. And so don't feel bad about investing for yourself. It's not selfish. It's going to better and add value to the more people that you come in contact with. So, but if we know we have others depending on us, and we've made an investment, then we're going to show up and we're going to have a better success rate if we just, buy the book by ourselves and try to read it on our own. We're missing a couple elements there. So if for no other reason at all, but just accountability, I'm urging you to join with others and join this group. I'm getting ready to launch a transformational program that if you lean in, it'll do just that. It'll transform your life. And so it really just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart with something so simple that keeps people from expressing and living their full potential. And if they would just be coachable and follow some of the basic principles and be committed and willing to do, have that WIT way of thinking, be willing to do whatever it takes to see it to the end. And you have to be willing to make that choice to see it to end, but you have to be willing to make a choice to take a chance on yourself so that you can change. And so, most of my life as someone who you guys in this group know, I was sexually abused and who didn't have much money growing up. I worked hard in academics and athletics so I could get a scholarship to be, I had a goal to be the first generation college student in my family. And so I prided myself on self-reliance. My mentor, John Maxwell, says if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, then you got to go with other people. And so I thought I was a self-made woman, and there is no such thing as a self-made woman. If you're going to have a sustained success and achievement in life, then bring people with you to this program that I'm about to launch. Also, other like-minded individuals like yourself, and that have a growth mindset. You might even be saying, oh, I can just read the book on my own and meet like a book club with some of my friends. Yes, of course, you could do that. But my wisdom to you is to choose wisely of who you go on this journey with, because in the introduction of the 15 Laws of Growth, he says, sorry, this is how good this book is. I've just torn it to pieces. Okay, so he says, potential is one of the most wonderful words in any language. It looks forward with optimism. It is filled with hope. It promises success. It implies fulfillment. It hints at greatness. Potential is a word based on possibilities. Okay, potential is all those things. Optimism, hope, success, implies fulfillment, hints at greatness, and it's based on possibilities. And so when I think about your potential, I get excited, and so should you, by the way. And so why do I bring this up? Why do I bring this what potential does? Is my mentor John Maxwell, #1 guru in leadership. He also writes in 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership that the law of inner circle, because remember, I'm talking about be careful who you go on this journey with. So the law of inner circle, a leader's potential is determined by the people closest to you. So if your potential is determined by the people closest to you, and your potential looks forward with optimism, the people around you will give you optimism or not, or they'll give you hope or not, or they'll promise success or not. They'll imply your fulfillment or not. The people around you are going to hint at your greatness, and they're going to know what your possibilities are. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the thing. So if you are going on this journey, and you want to just do it on your own, that's fine. That's good. I want you to. I want you to have that, just that ability to do that, and more power to you if that's what you're wanting to do. But if in no disrespect to you or your friends or anything, the people closest to you, our friends are our friends and we can have them. But if you want your best, okay, then you want to be very careful of that inner circle. And so if that's something that you want, if you want to be the best version of yourself, or, leave something behind for your family, then this is the program for you. But if you raise your hand today, and you say, this is what I want, and I encourage you to do that, then you're going to grab one of those first seats. And so I'm going to launch this program at the end of September, beginning of October. But if you raise your hand now, then I'm going to save you a spot, because there are going to be limited spots available. But since you guys are my tribe and we've been in this together, I wanted to offer this pre-launch to you today. And especially if you made it to the end of the video, I want to bless you. And so I'm excited for you. I can't wait to watch you grow on your journey and to take this next step. Of course, you know what I'm going to say, to walk with purpose so you can collide with destiny. But just to leave a lasting legacy for the next generation. So I'm going a little bit long. I was trying to keep this under 20 minutes. And so I know. I just love you guys. I'm praying for you. I want the best for you. That's my passion, is to help you passionately pursue your purpose, and to do that, especially as parents, grandparents, or anybody influencing youth, because again, we can't give to them what we don't already have. And so raise your hand in the comments, drop me a message, say sign me up, I'm in. If you want more details about it, that's cool too, and we can talk about that, or just wait for the launch, but save your spot today. The groups are usually capped out at about 15. I really like 10 because then there's more interaction, but it caps out at 15. So anyways, all right, I love you guys. Take care, and bye-bye.